what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the different websites that are available to you as parents. Okay, we're going to look at 4 different locations, and that's one of the problems that we're hoping to solve over the course of this year. Is that we're sending you to a few different places, and we'd like to take all of that and just squish it into one. But there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of costs that we got to overcome. And over the course of this year, it's our goal to overcome all of those so that you have one nice, easy place to go in order to see all of this information that I'm going to show you. Okay? The first website that I want to show you is My Valor. And there's a few ways to think about these websites. The first one, My Valor, it's basically a school-wide repository. It's basically what am I responsible for. So there's policies, there's guidelines, there's the parent pledge, and if you see on the Valor Christian website up at the top right, there's a little link that says My Valor. Everybody see that? So My Valor answers that question, what am I responsible for? You go to valorchristian.com, click on My Valor. You should have been given a username and password. I understand you might not have brought that with you tonight, and that's okay. I'm going to show you what it looks like. If you have your username and password, feel free to log in and take a look. If the person before you didn't log out, then feel free to look through theirs, right? That's okay. So this is what it looks like once you're logged in. So here's My Valor. You can see there's some dress guidelines there that you can download. There's some important dates, a PDF of a calendar, some important dates. Students with overdue library books, you want to just look through that list really quick and talk to your student if you see them on there. You can access that there. Carpooling through Ride Arrangers if you're looking to save some gas and send your kid with somebody else. You can do that here. You can find some carpool partners. Valor student email addresses we're going to look at really quick. Every student's been given an email address at firstname.lastname@govalor.com. It's really, really important that they check those. Internally as teachers, it's a policy that when we contact students, we contact them through their GoValor account. And that's a matter of professionalism. It's a matter of training for college. And it's just the best way for us to do it. Instead of having a bunch of Hotmail and Gmail and Yahoo and all of this everywhere where we don't really know what a student's email address is, everything goes to govalor.com. If I go into my pre-calculus class and I send an email to all of my students through the web portal, it's going to go to their GoValor account. So it's really important that you partner with us. I'll talk about that in just a minute. From My Valor, you can see the next website we're going to talk about, and that's Net Classroom. So if you want to click on Net Classroom. And again, if you have your login, it should be the same username and password for My Valor to get into Net Classroom. Okay? So what does Net Classroom do? It gives you grades and it gives you attendance. Okay? So this Net Classroom answers the question, how is my student doing in their class? And you can get to it. So there's a couple ways to do this. You can go to valorchristian.com, click on My Valor, log into My Valor, click on Net Classroom, and then log into Net Classroom. Or you can go directly to just netclassroom.valorchristian.com. It's pretty easy to remember. Again, the goal is to take all of these and just squish them into My Valor. And we're going to get there, hopefully, over the course of this next year. So netclassroom.valorchristian.com. So what does that look like? Well, here's Net Classroom. I'm logged in as a sample student. This is the home page. You'll see the averages for the classes that they're in. Right now, my sample student is only enrolled in one class. Mr. Kosarog's World in the West single gender female class, apparently, is the class that I'm in right now. So you can look at the assignment list. Oh, now I need to log back in. You can look at the assignments list, and you can see it here. Here's all the assignments that have been due. A teacher can also post a document with an assignment, like here's some instructions that go with this assignment. Mr. Kosarog had them do it's called a pachakacha. I don't know if your students have talked to you about a pachakacha. It's like a certain kind of speech that's popular in Japan where it's a certain length, and so there's the instructions for the culture pachakacha. They can download that, and then they can actually upload their PowerPoint right here through this little Dropbox thing. It's called a Dropbox. It's not Some of you might have Dropbox accounts, right? Anybody in here use Dropbox? I'm going to talk about Dropbox in a minute. It's called a Dropbox through Net Classroom, but it's a way for students to submit assignments. So we've got a couple ways for them to do that, and I'll tell you about a couple other ways we have. You could see graded student work, averages, things like that. Sorry, it gets weird with a sample account. Here's the 4 categories that go into this class. Classroom engagement, homework, projects, tests, and quizzes. And then you can actually expand these to see, here's all the assignments that go into that. So you see right here, there was homework due August 31st, and I don't have a grade for it, right? That means it's missing. So you can talk about that and figure out, okay, why is there not a grade there? Is it the teacher's fault, or are you missing something? So you can see all their grades. You can also see attendance. So you can see on August 27th, sample student was reported absent to Mr. Kosarok's class, which is kind of weird, actually. So you can check their attendance, just hold them accountable. You should be getting an email on a daily basis if they're absent or tardy, I believe. But in some cases, it happens that a teacher forgets to take attendance, comes back the next day and puts it in, and so that email didn't go out to you or something like that. So you might want to just occasionally come in here and just check it just to hold them accountable. All right? So that's Net Classroom. It's primarily grades and attendance. It's how is my student doing in their classes. All right. The next website, and I'm really excited about this. I actually just built this. I should mention I'm the new director of educational technology. This is a new position for Valor. We really felt we needed somebody that was going to kind of be a director for teachers to help them use technology effectively, to make some good technology decisions, make sure we're working as a whole school towards the same goals when it comes to technology. And we've got a lot of really neat things in the works. We're moving in a really neat direction. And Valor Classroom is one of those pieces that I'm really excited about, that we're slowly rolling out to all the teachers. What Valor Classroom does is it extends the classroom. You can go ahead and take a look at it at valorclassroom.com if you want to see it really quick. And this is, how can my student get help in the class? How can my student get additional information about the class? And let me show you how some of the teachers are using this. So here's the Valor Classroom homepage. This is my pre-calculus class. Chapter 1 in pre-calculus is primarily a review of Algebra 2. There's the distance formula, the Pythagorean theorem, the equation of a circle, the kinds of things that they've really seen since Algebra 1. They saw it in Algebra 1, they saw it in geometry, they saw it in Algebra 2. I'm sorry, at the pre-calc level, I really don't want to teach that again. But they need to know it so that we can move on from it. So what we did is we posted some videos and said, listen, you should know the Pythagorean theorem because you've seen it for 3 years. You should be good at using it. But if you're not, if you need a refresher or you're not completely sure, here's a bunch of videos about the topics that we're going to hold you responsible for in this chapter. And you can go and get a quick refresher about these certain topics that we're not going to spend a lot of time in class talking about. One of the other ways that teachers can use this, and the U.S. history class is trying this out this year. They're kind of experimenting with this. If you're familiar with Bloom's taxonomy, there's different levels of learning. There's knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. And what happens is a lot of times we as teachers end up spending too much time in the classroom with knowledge and comprehension. I get up, if you ever Google, do a Google image search for teacher with safe search on, you'll see a lot of pictures of a person standing at the front of a room pointing at a board or something similar to that, right? And there's this concept of teacher as lecturer, and that's all we're supposed to do. The problem is all we're doing is we're delivering facts and then they regurgitate it to us. And that's not getting anywhere beyond knowledge and comprehension. That's not accessing those upper levels. So what the history department is trying out is, what if we gave them the knowledge and comprehension through online resources? Whether it's reading an article or, like we have with Mr. Kosarog and Mr. Frazier here, watching a video about the Constitution. So instead of doing homework, Go home and watch this video about the Constitution and come back ready to analyze it and synthesize it and evaluate your opinion about it and form some of those deeper levels of learning. And so just the factual stuff, we can deliver that in a better way so that in class we can actually use it and get into it. And so that's how we're seeing some of the teachers start to use this valorclassroom.com. And that's one of the reasons I'm really, really excited about it. Because once teachers get good at using it and they get hold of how it can be used, it's going to be a very, very powerful thing. The language teachers have been posting audio clips. You know, listen to this song in Spanish and come to class ready to sing it together. Watch this PowerPoint where you can, go through your vocabulary. We don't have to spend time in class with just those facts. When you get to class, we're just going to talk to each other. And you already know your vocabulary because that was your homework. So things like that. We're rolling it out slow. I just finished building this website. And so we've started with a few departments. The history department is starting to catch hold and use it a lot. Languages department, they're kind of my rock stars. They tested this out last year. They're using it a lot this year. Math department has been posting a lot of items online for your students to use. And I had a meeting with the science department. Hopefully you'll see some things coming out from the science department as well. But that's just another way for us to help your student gain an understanding of the material we're trying to teach them. All right? And the nice thing about this is, in class, you can't hit pause on the teacher, right? If you miss something as you're writing, furiously taking notes, you can't just click pause. But if it's online on YouTube, you can pause it, go back, listen to it again, and make sure you get it. You as a parent, if you're wondering what is my student learning, you can watch it with them and then help them understand it. You can be a true partner in that educational process. Does that make sense, what we're doing with that? So that's valorclassroom.com. The last one, and we mentioned this before, is Go Valor. It's the student email. Right now we're using Microsoft Outlook. We've set up students with govalor.com accounts at Microsoft Outlook. You can just go to outlook.com and they can access their email there. Please hold them accountable. They should be checking that on a daily basis. All of our communication out to them will be going to that email address. But that's how can my student communicate. If they want to email us as well, they should get used to using their Go Valor account. If they need to sign up for a service, for example, turnitin.com. And let me show you this really quick. On the Valor Classroom website, there's this little link here for tech help. And there's a lot of services that we use, like turnitin.com, which is a fantastic service. I know a lot of people think of it just as a plagiarism check. It's so much more than a plagiarism check. It'll give them a plagiarism score or an originality score, but it'll give the teacher the opportunity to make comments on that paper, to really easily give feedback. Even like I can make an audio clip of explaining what they could do to improve this paper, and then the student can go back and listen to that instead of just trying to read my chicken scratch. I can type things in, add comments, add a voice comment to it. So turnitin.com is a really, really, really neat way for teachers to take an assignment. So if it's an essay in a class, they can use turnitin.com to accept it. They can also use Net Classroom, that little Dropbox thing. I mentioned Dropbox earlier. We've invested in unlimited space for the teachers for Dropbox, which is really, really cool. If you have a Dropbox account, you probably understand how that space idea works. We have 18 terabytes as a faculty, and so we've been just sharing things all over the place, and it's been great for collaboration. We encourage students to go ahead and get a Dropbox account to back up their files, to be able to share things with teachers, share things with other students. That whole idea of collaboration is just a great skill for them to have. And under technology help, and I'm sorry, it's not working for me right now, I apologize. There's just some instructions, some videos about here's how to use Turnitin.com, or here's what Dropbox is and how it works. I mentioned I was recording this. I'm actually going to take this session and just post it online at valorclassroom.com. So if you go back and you think, I forget what he said about Net Classroom, or I forget the difference between My Valor and Net Classroom, and a lot of people do. I asked a couple students, and they're like, I don't know. I'm not sure what. So if you forget, you can go to valorclassroom.com. You can watch this session again and get this information again. Does that make sense? Are there any questions before I let you go? Yes.
When I go into Net Classroom, I use my kids' login. Would I see anything different if I use my own?
I'm not sure about that. I think if you use your own, you'll see all of your kids at once if you have more than one kid. But if you just have one kid, you'll basically see essentially the same things. We do encourage parents to use their own login just as best practices, but I don't know that you're going to see anything too different. Good question. Anybody else, any other questions before I let you go?
What's their email address again?
Their email is their first name, period, last name. So mine would be mark.gomez@govalor.com. So all of the students are at govalor.com. All of the teachers are at valorchristian.com. So if you go to outlook.com, type in first name dot last name at govalor.com with their password, you'll see, in fact, I can show you what it'll look like. So this is our sample account. It's just the Outlook interface, but it's with our little eagle here, and they can access their email. They can email a teacher or another student, things like that. But you have their password to it. You can check it and help them, keep them accountable for staying on top of that. Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. You guys have a great night and a great year.
We're going downstairs, all the way downstairs, then we'll come back up for the last